high and wide.
Welcome back to another episode of High and Wide. We are your hosts. I'm Rafe. Wow, that's super formal. Yeah. Abdul Wase. Pleasure. Pleasure indeed. What have you been up to? I've been constantly adjusting my glasses. Like every few seconds, I need to be adjusting my glasses because baby Rupe has sat on my glasses multiple times. Every morning, she takes my glasses, is like, glah, glah, and hands them, and they're just so messed up. And they feel so strange. They feel so bizarre. I always had thrown off smudges on my glasses because obviously the kids are always touching them, and just scratches and stuff. And I just became sort of desensitized to it until I got new glasses. I was like, oh my God, I can see the leaves. It's like that. I always carry a microfiber cloth for baby glasses. Nice. And I always have to clean my glasses. And anytime I see certain friends whose glasses are so disgusting that I actually say, give me your glasses. Give me your glasses. Well, give me your glasses. Omer. Always. Dang. In my old workplace, I had a Filipino friend. Just things that like I never thought of until I met other people. I had a Filipino friend and we're talking about glasses. And she said, I can't buy the glasses you have. I'm like, why not? She says, because I'm Asian. I don't have a nose bridge. I can't buy these glasses because the ones I'm wearing are plastic. It's a one piece, right? Yeah. The ones you have are the nose pads. She's like, I can only wear glasses with nose pads like mine because I don't have a nose bridge. This plastic middle isn't going to land anywhere. It's just going to slip off. I'll be constantly pushing it up. I was like, that's interesting. Thank you for sharing this with me. I never knew. Okay. That's so interesting. So how do we get into the topic of third culture? Of immigration. Well, funny enough, we got our glasses the time when we did our medical checkup in order to come to Canada. Actually, right? Yeah, I think it was in Pakistan for the immigration process. Did checkup, and then doctor said, "I think you guys need glasses." So we were like 7 or 8 when we got them. Yeah, because of that checkup, and here we are. We moved from Saudi Arabia to Canada, to Mississauga of all places in the world. Zainab got glasses today. Well, she got prescription today. Yeah. Nice. Okay. Yeah. How did you find out that she needed? Was it headaches or what? No, we just wanted to get the annual, their first time ever. Wanted to get their eyes checked for the first time ever. Okay. So nothing prompted it. You just wanted to. Nothing prompted it. Just turns out, she needs glasses. Oh man. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Like, yeah, that's a young man. That's 6 years old. That's really young. Yeah. Okay. And Zayd's good. Zayd's fine. Wow. My kids so far are fine. We'll see. We'll see if anything changes. Do you remember anything from our? I like to think that we had 2 childhoods, right? Everything before 8 years old was our first childhood. That was Saudi Arabia. That was the Middle East, and then you had the second childhood in like Fowler Drive. Honestly, a lot of the pre-move is a blur to me. Like I don't have very clear, concrete memories of life in the Middle East. We were 7 when we moved, so by then we had finished grade 2. So yeah, I remember certain things here and there, but not a whole lot, honestly. Like I know my wife remembers a whole lot more from her childhood than I do of my childhood. I think we've actually spoken about this. I think even I remember more about our childhood than you do. Then something traumatic must have happened. Something blocked that part of you, blocked those memories. Yeah. What do you remember? Dude, so much, man. Like I remember the exact layout of that house. Me too. Right? Yeah. I remember certain classmates, the classrooms, the teachers. I remember a new bicycle I got. I remember there's was it the bicycle that looked like a motorbike? That's right. Yeah, I remember that. Yes. I remember having way too many toy guns to play with. Wow. You know the cap ones, which is the red ring, and each time you pull the trigger, it pops. Yeah. Of course. Those, and then just other toy guns, remote control cars. I believe I'm better at controlling a remote control car than anyone else. I think that's the one thing I learned from all the toys. Like, what a skill! Congratulations. Oh man, I'd love to just make obstacle courses with my kids' toy cars. They're like, "How are you so good?" Like, because you suck. We had. Do you remember that we had this there was a bedroom adjacent to the living room where the TV was, right? And there was the first drawer. When you pull that, it was just VHS, like cassettes, and it was all the cartoons and stuff.
Hold on, is this a separate room or the living room itself? You're saying?
I don't think it was in the living room. I think there was a room next door, right next to that wall, and I think that's where we had all the different.
I don't know what room this
cassettes
is
and stuff.
It's not the TV room.
No, it wasn't the TV room.
I don't even remember now.
There you go.
We're gonna have to map that out. I don't know.
We're gonna have to ask me. We're gonna ask me. I mean, what was the map? What was the layout of this? The blueprint of this house?
Okay.
But you've been wanting to move to the Middle East for some time now.
Oh, every 2 weeks, my wife and I would be like, "Why are we in this capitalistic society where you just your whole motto is I need to earn more money so I can save up or try to buy a house or put down debts or whatever. It's just money. It's just money and like not having that sense of community or the village. Every 2 weeks, we're like, let's move somewhere. Let's go to Oman. Let's go to Qatar, and then
because that would be what not money related.
It's
let's move to Dubai.
Not interested in Dubai. My wife hates Dubai. But
not being sarcastic, like those places are heavily influenced by the thought of seeking money, like capitalism.
Yes, but there's pockets and good neighborhoods where you can raise your kids.
Oh,
so
sure.
It just also comes down to having your kids in an Islamic environment. I've always wanted to do Ramadan in a Muslim country. If I'm going to travel, I'd like to at least do that. But yeah, moving, we're like, sometimes we'll look at a contract. She's a nurse, right? So there's very lucrative nursing contracts where accommodation's paid, transportation's paid, your meals are paid, and you just work and you're taxed less.
The expatriate, right?
So we look at it every 2 weeks and we're like, okay, if we move, we're going to be richer, but lonely because our entire family is here. Let's just decide to be we'll just be poor here, but our hearts are full.
Mashallah,
because our whole family is here.
That's richness. That's richness right
in the
there,
heart.
Right? That should have been the end of the episode. That was such a good place to just like conclude, right? Yeah, I would love to explore living in the Middle East with the kids for like a week. I guess that's not living. I'd love to vacation.
Okay, so we'll do Ramadan together.
I would not be able to do Ramadan. I think
I need to experience Ramadan in a Muslim country.
Unless you're talking about like doing it in Medina, I am not interested.
It's Medina or nothing?
Yeah. Like to do Ramadan elsewhere, outside?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's Medina or nothing.
Why? Why not? There's so much more.
There's a feeling of like meeting people here, like loved ones, like community members, friends.
That's fine. Inshallah, they'll be here and alive next year. But like this year,
I mean, I can't guarantee that. I mean, like perpetually. Like I mean to move permanently.
Yeah, that's
right.
That's not happening. We're not moving.
Okay, so we're just saying exploring just one Ramadan. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Just one Ramadan.
Totally.
In the Middle East.
Absolutely. Okay. I'd love to do that.
What do you think would be different?
Just the vibe, man. What the hell kind of question is that? It must be so different. Are you kidding?
I'm not denying it. I'm curious to know your thoughts.
Vibes. I don't know how else to put it. One, hearing the adhan. Like I need to hear the adhan. You know what I mean?
When is the last time you've been to a Muslim country?
Turkey. It was a while ago. 2018, 2017, 2018. That was like a quick layover, if you remember.
Yes.
Right? But before that, honeymoon, Turkey. That was 2014. Did like 10 days.
And when did you go to Pakistan?
Oh, it's been a long time.
2010?
2010.
Yeah,
so
you're overdue.
I am. Yeah, it's 14 years ago.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
I'm due for a trip.
You are almost.
I need to go. I'd like to go up north and check out the northern areas.
But that's beautiful.
Yeah.
You and I have been wanting to do a bros trip.
And then there's a new baby like every year.
Yeah, we said in 2024 would be the bros trip.
Yeah.
Pending. It was based pending if there was if either of us had a kid or not.
No more babies.
And of course that hasn't happened yet. So here we are.
Yeah.
Maybe one day, inshallah.
The baby?
No, the
boys trip.
The trip.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. I would love though to take the kids to the Middle East. I think that'd be beautiful.
Okay, good. Then we are agreed.
An Umrah trip, a family Umrah trip.
Yeah. I think as soon as my youngest, she's turning 3 soon, but once she's a bit older, then I think an Umrah trip would be more possible. So inshallah. You guys?
Wallahu alam, honestly, I don't know. Flying with a family of 5, bro.
Because our financial priority always was for Hajj. But with Hajj prices, it's like by the time I save it up enough to 1, buy a house, and then 2, go for Hajj, my kids will be so old that now we've changed our priority to say we need to go for Umrah because that'll allow us to take the children with us. And the whole point is we want them to be inspired and to see what Umrah is and to experience it. And hopefully that, helps them become better Muslims. So Umrah is the new
Top of the list.
goal, inshallah. Yeah.
Nice. I like that. Mashallah. All right, let me know when you're going. And you sometimes realize that we have been surrounded by Arab friends our entire lives, like from the beginning.
We had a best friend in Saudi Arabia.
Multiple.
I remember Muhammad.
There was another guy,
Mahmoud. I think they might have been cousins.
Maybe. There was the girl, Ala.
Yes.
Like,
They were all Egyptian.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah, they were.
They were, yeah.
We used to go to Muhammad's house every Wednesday because Wednesday night was like the Friday night because the weekend was different, right? The weekend was Thursday. The weekend was Thursday, Friday?
I think so. At least, I think so.
The Friday, Saturday? I don't remember. I remember going the Wednesday nights to play Warcraft. We didn't own a computer. Muhammad did.
Yep.
So we just go there and play Warcraft. And we were like 7 years old, building barracks and exploring the unmapped territory on the game, in the map. I do remember some things, Yeah.
Warcraft, the things that matter.
I remember Warcraft.
Love that. Do you remember moving to that area that we were in, Fowler Drive, Roche Court area?
Shout out to Roche Court. Shout out to Fowler Drive, Mississauga. Yeah, 1970 Fowler Drive, man.
It's so bizarre though. Like our early experience was so embedded, like so surrounded by South Asians.
Yeah.
Like in the apartment building, we'd have the auntie like across the floor. The kids would come. They were friends.
Yeah.
And ask for like onions and ask for like Bollywood CDs and stuff. Like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. That's right.
That's hilarious.
CDs. That's funny.
That's community right there.
Yeah. I remember in Ramadan you could like smell pakora everywhere.
I mean, if you're not asking the neighbors for onions and tomatoes, are you really a community?
Right.
Good times.
Good times. I remember taking our bikes out and just riding out, and our parents had no clue where we were. Like, can you imagine you or your kid doing that now? Where it's like, exactly.
Unless they have an air tag on them.
Yeah.
Right? We used to play tag in 2 different buildings, apartment buildings, and it was inside and out.
Yeah.
And it would take like multiple hours.
Yeah. And
you could be on any floor in either of the apartment buildings running around. That's insane. And now when my kid goes like past the street, I'm like, oh, it's too sharp. What the hell happened? Yeah. The world changed. Inside the parking garage, behind the building. Yeah. Shout out to P2. Sharon Mall. Yeah. It was a different time. It was a different time. Yeah. You were talking about Arab friends. Yeah. How did I get there? I was going to say, I mean, just being surrounded by, like, I mean, I think, I was the topic of Middle East, and then our closest friends were always Arab. You married an Arab. Even to this day, our closest friends are still. Yeah. I mean, your children are half Arab. My children are mudbloods. SubhanAllah. Wow. SubhanAllah. Yeah. They've got a Dadi and Dada, and they've got a Sitti and a Sido. Nice. Right. How do you pass on your culture? I don't know if it's like an active thing. I think it just passively, they absorb it through visiting family. Obviously, the fact that my wife and I, we live with our parents, me and Abu, so they're absorbing culture from there, right? Whether it's through language or food or whatever phrases, or watching other people come into the house and the dawats and stuff like that. Yeah. Right. What about you? Yeah, same. I think I know that obviously our Urdu is not the greatest, right? And I know that I will struggle.
Yours is better than mine. I will.
Yours is
give
pretty
you
bad.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
But I know that I can't pass on a language, unfortunately, to my kids as much as I would like. There's words and phrases and that kind of stuff that, yeah, okay, I can pass on. But because I never grew up speaking it fluently, I can't expect my kids to be speaking it fluently. Right?
I mean, starting at the age of 4, we went to an American school. And so we were just speaking English.
That's right.
Starting preschool and kindergarten. So this whole speak more Urdu, that's been happening. Like our parents have been saying that to us since we were very young.
People actually are shocked when they find out that I wasn't born here. I had like old coworkers who were shocked that I was born in Saudi Arabia.
You bloody immigrant.
Yeah, because they just assumed that I would have like some sort of accent or something while speaking English. And they're just shocked. But back to your question. So language is going to be obviously difficult to pass on. But certain parts of it, hopefully, inshallah, I can. But the rest, I think there's always in our family has been a big emphasis on like food, clothing, mannerisms, tradition, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I'd love to pass that on, like, hats, cultural hats. Yeah.
Nice.
I've always loved pakos and Sindhi topis and that kind of stuff.
Actually, yeah.
The Jinnah caps.
Okay.
I have like 3 Jinnah hats.
Nice.
I always wear them on Eid, and the uncles give me so much respect. Or I used to wear them on Jummahs too, actually, sometimes. Yo, uncles, bro, the smiles on their faces is great. So stuff like that I'd love to pass on, but I do wish at times that I could speak more fluently. I think even from like my work perspective, I've had certain clients who like want to have a Urdu speaking therapist. That's a entire like new field, I think.
That's a different level,
right? That would be incredible to get into that.
Yeah.
And I've had clients who like will speak in Urdu, but I'm speaking back in English. But I just picture like, imagine making content or speaking to clients in just Urdu. Imagine making content that is addressed to uncles and aunties, like social media content, addressed to uncles and aunties, and that's like educating them about what depression or anxiety is.
That would be amazing.
Right? It's like, auntie, your son is not, he is depressed.
Right.
But all in Urdu, I'll say with that.
If that's something you want to do, that sounds amazing. You'd definitely be hitting a demographic that needs to hear it from you.
Yeah, right. That'd be really nice. I'd love that. But I think lately with I've been thinking more of like, with obviously like Palestine going on, just decolonizing, and with that comes this like passion or want to explore my own culture, my own language, my own heritage, following people who are BIPOC, like even like the people that we would see. So, for example, I almost feel like now I want to, if I wanted to go for, let's say, an eye exam or whatever it is, I would be more inclined to go for a BIPOC professional because I want to now. I feel like they would just better understand. Yeah. Than someone else, right?
Especially in the field of therapy. But I mean, even seeking out any healthcare provider, I agree with you. Find someone that understands what you're going through and looks like you. You'll have that connection, right? Yeah. Speaking of decolonization, though, it's interesting wanting to learn your mother tongue because, in a way, we were forced to learn this language that we're speaking in. Yes. Right? Why did we learn it? Because we grew up in Saudi Arabia. What were we doing in an English school in Saudi Arabia? It was the Gulf War. It was the U.S. military built a city and all these expats came in. Why is the U.S. military in that city? Well, oil. Mm-hmm. That's what they were doing there. Yeah. So all these people just had to learn it. Yeah. And, even for those like within the family who didn't moved to Saudi, they still had to learn English. Like, what was the South Asian world like prior to British colonization? I wonder what that was like. Rich. Yeah. Dude, I found this podcast. I forget the name of it. I'll send it to you. I sent it to Ummi. It was 2 Urdu, professors, I think. The entire podcast is
in Urdu, and they are talking about the Urdu language itself.
Okay, cool.
Crazy. It's so good. It's so good. Some of the words whoosh, way over my head, right? Because the one uncle, he's older, and he speaks not a word of English in this podcast.
Okay,
as he speaks about Urdu, and he's talking about how Urdu is such a adaptive language. It's so malleable that I can borrow words from different languages, and it fits into the structure of Urdu so well.
Okay.
And that's why it's so easy for people to stop speaking Urdu or mix it with a different language, because it just flows well. And then you slowly have less people, like the number of Urdu speakers will diminish or is diminishing because it's so malleable.
Interesting.
And I thought, what? And I was like, what did it look like prior to the British? What was it? I wonder what it was like.
My wife will sometimes ask me, what's the word for this thing in Urdu? And she wants to ask lights. Like, how do people say lights in Urdu? I'm like, honestly, I think they just literally just say light.
Yeah.
They close the light. They'll use the word light. Was there a word before that? Yeah, for sure.
Of course.
But all these English words get thrown in and they just use it. But speaking about pre-British, I have a new coworker, right? So we were introducing ourselves, and she said she's sick, and she said her family comes from the city of Amritsar, India. And I was like, oh, cool. My family comes from Karachi, but I was born in Saudi Arabia. And I told her that my grandparents actually are from UP, northern India. And she says, wow, my grandfather actually is from Lahore and then had to go to Amritsar post the partition. I was like, interesting. My family was from UP. And then so we crossed sides. And then here we are meeting in Brampton, which is so interesting.
Yeah. I got to learn more about partition history.
Yeah, I really do. Me too. I mean, it was the largest mass migration in human history.
Wild.
It is wild.
I'm tempted to get an Urdu tutor, like on one of those language sites. I forgot what they're called. Just like try it out. 15 minutes. Let's see how good my conversational skills are.
I was listening to an Urdu podcast. This was like sometime last year, just to hear more of it, And then this one time I remember I was cooking something. I wanted to cook something. And I was like, why am I limiting myself to English recipes when I can understand Urdu?
That's right.
We talked about this before, the term of being receptive bilingual, where you can understand what's being spoken, but it's just difficult for you to find the right words and to say it right in the right conjugations or whatever. So I was like, why am I limiting myself? So I put on some Pakistani auntie on YouTube, and I was like, this is awesome. I can understand everything.
Amazing.
I know what these ingredients are. I was like, oh, cool. That was one way for me to like broaden my scope, kind of.
Your TikTok algorithm could change so drastically.
Yeah.
A whole different Urdu talk.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. I've explored that. It's really nice. There's a level of, I don't know, I'll be trying my best to describe it, but there's like this, it's familiar, right? But with that, it's so like comforting. Maybe I'm trying to find the right word for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you hear it, it just sounds so like, yes, like this is like home.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
No, I get it. It's a way for you to connect with your roots, right? That you're understanding the language that your grandparents spoke, which is nice.
Although Dada was an English tutor.
Yeah. But why was he an English tutor?
Because the British, bro.
Goddamn British, man.
Man needed a job,
My wife was Palestinian, Free Palestine. Often we'll just, we're talking about something and we'll stop and we'll just be like, damn the British. We'll just think like, why is this happening to Palestine? Why is this happening around the world? Almost always the answer is, God damn the British Empire.
I was thinking of a friend, and he messages me, and I was like, mashallah, you have a long life ahead of you. Because there's the Urdu proverb is like, when you're thinking of someone and then they show up,
Okay.
it means that they have a long life ahead of them, right?
Oh,
So I was like, you have a long life ahead of you.
my Arab in-laws say when you're thinking of someone. No, I've got that wrong. Why don't you go ahead?
Okay. So I said that you have a long life ahead of you. And I thought, you know what the English equivalent of that is? Speak of the devil.
Wow.
Shayateen, bro.
I was gonna say live long and prosper, but that's actually not a thing. But speak of the devil.
That's the closest proverb. The equivalent would be
Speak of the devil.
Speak of the devil. May you have a long life ahead of you. Speak of the devil.
That's what's interesting. Have you read Mornings in Janine?
No, but it's on my list. To be honest, I think I've been avoiding it because I know how sad and tragic that book
You
is.
must.
And with the context of Palestine and Gaza.
You must. You read that one, then the second one, and then the third one, Against a Loveless Life or something like that. That was my favorite one. But anyways, Mornings in Janine, this girl, she's talking about how the Arabic language is so full. It's so rich, where they're thanking people who, someone gives her something and she says, God bless your hands. Or just the different little sayings that they have to thank someone. Compare that to what you're saying, speak of the devil, where it's just like you're comparing these like rich languages that are praising other people, and you're thinking the best of them, and you're putting them on this pedestal to say like you're honoring them and you're giving them this dignity.
Bro.
And then on the other side, it's like, speak of the devil.
That's yeah. Even with my name, like we're doing a play date for the kids, and it was the first time I had met this like white dude, and I introduced myself as Abdul Wasi instead of I've been called Abdul for like so long.
Yeah,
most people would say AW, but I said Abdul Wasi, and he was nice enough. Like he's like, what's like, how do you say it?
Oh, good.
So it's like the bare minimum.
Yeah,
but I said, I usually tell people that if you can say Daenerys Targaryen, you can say Abdul Wasi. And he had such a good laugh. Yeah. And then from that day on, it's been like a year and a half or something. He always calls me Abdul Wasi.
Nice.
Emails, texts, sees me Abdul Wasi. And I think that's part of that decolonization thing. It's like, yo, you can say Anne Marie, can't you? He said Daenerys Targaryen.
Yeah.
How hard is my name?
We had to tell my son that, right? Because it's so easy to shorten the name Zakaria. To a nickname, right? Of course. So we had to say like, no, we chose this name for you, and he gets that. But it was just it was a conversation that needed to be done early on. It was necessary.
I think all the cousins call him like shortened, like
nickname. He has a shorter name, but not the white people shorter name. Like it's not Zach, right?
Yeah.
We'll say Zaki because early on, like in their dialect, Zaki means something delicious. He was just a delicious baby, so we just started saying Zaki.
Nice.
So that stuck. Not because we want to shorten the name, but he was a little delicious baby. Just wanted to bite him, so that name stuck. So yeah, he's Zaki. But certain people, like you go to swim class and they say Zach or something like that, where instructors and coaches call it to him, then it's like, hey, no, his name's Zakaria.
I like that. Good for you guys. Solid.
This podcast is brought to you by Warsha Studios. It's available on YouTube and Instagram, and the audio recordings are on Apple and Spotify. Thank you, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Warsha Studios Podcast.